Hello. Trying this video without my bedroom light on so I don't have so much head glare. Um, Man, I got so much done today. I am tired, but like I don't know if it's adrenaline or what it is, but I got so much done that I feel like I need to keep going. I guess that's the way I am with stuff. I procrastinate and I have to really like schedule something or put myself in some kind of situation where it has to be done, or just really push myself to do it to because my natural state is to procrastinate. I will wait till the last minute to do everything, and I'm the type of person that when it comes test day, I haven't studied at all. When your finals due, I haven't even I don't even know what the project is, and I do it the night before. That's the type of person I am. But I try. I think it's good to know your deficiencies and your default. Like I know what my defaults are. I know what I'm programmed to, and I work around it. But I got out this morning. I scheduled my appointment at DPS, otherwise known as DMV, about 3 weeks ago, because that's how far out they're booked, and you have to use a third party to schedule. And I've talked about this before. But this morning, December 30th, Monday, I took a day off work, burning the last of my planned business days. I usually don't use all of my planned business days, but since I'm planning on quitting the company, I used them all. I didn't feel bad about it. I worked there for like 12 or 13 years, and almost everybody burns all of their time off. And PBA, like vacation time, I definitely burn it all. Well, there was one year that I had a bad manager, and anyway, that's another discussion. But PBA is for like sick leave or going to the optometrist or some type of appointment, or some kind of unscheduled illness. So it's not like expected that you're going to use it all. You get 2 weeks. So I usually have 2 or 3 days left at the end of every year. I use them for those times when I wake up and I'm just like, I don't want to deal with anybody's crap today. I am like never sick. I can't remember in the last decade where I've had a day that I've been sick. When I first started working at this company, I am digressing so bad, getting way off topic. I'm going to finish this real quick, get back on topic. When I first started at the company, I almost said the name of the company. When I first started at the company that I work for right now, it's a big office building. Like 1,500 total people work there or could work there. I don't know how many actually do. But I had not worked around people like that in a long time. I had worked as a trucker. I worked as a security guard. I can't remember what else I did, but it's been like over 5 years since I'd worked around a lot of people. I think it had been since I worked for the government, DHS, the TSA, airport screener. I was an airport screener. Oh yeah, I was around a lot of nasty then. I was sick all the time. But when I first started at this company, since I hadn't been around, I was like sick for the first 6 months. Just I had strep throat. I had 2 or 3 different things within the first 6 months I was there. It's like everything that I had not been around for the last 5 or more years. But since then, I haven't been sick. So I just use those days as, I don't want to go to work today. I just like today's the day that I just don't have it in me to put up with people's crap. So today I used one of those days, and sorry, had to cough. Um, Went down to DPS. I scheduled it about 3 weeks ago. And what did I do at DPS? I took all 6 CDL tests. Now, there were 2 that I didn't take because I found out that I would have to do a road test and 2 other vehicles. Well, maybe I could get the passenger and the school bus in one road test. I think what it is that to have the passenger endorsement, it has to be in like a class A or B vehicle, and a school bus endorsement is like a class C or something like that. Anyway, I would have to do at least one additional road test, and skills test. I didn't want to do that, so I didn't get the passenger school bus endorsement. But I went in there and scheduled at 8 a.m. the earliest appointment that I could get, and they didn't. I got there at like 7:30. They wouldn't even let me. They have a little computer to sign in. They wouldn't even let me sign in until 15 minutes before the appointment, and then they ended up not calling me until probably 8:45. I sat there for like an hour and 15 minutes before they called me. I was really worried because normally, like every time I've done this, as soon as I check in, they call me. Like I wait for less than 2 minutes. So I was worried because they have different numbers for everything, and they did X100, and I had Y100. And I sat there and waited for about 15 minutes, and X100 had not checked in. They called it, but nobody went up there. So I was like, because they use different numbering systems each day, they'll change it around so that you can't come in with a ticket from yesterday and jump in line today and stuff like that. So I was afraid that maybe like I got a reservation number for today, but their number system was still on yesterday's number system, and they meant to call me with Y100, but they did an X100 instead. So after about 20 minutes that nobody had showed up, I went in there and I was like, hey, I just wanted to double check. I see that you called X100. I have Y100. You haven't called that, have you? And the guy that I walked up to was like really rude, condescending. Um, really condescending. To give you an idea of how condescending, like like really condescending. He sat there and first of all made a couple of snide remarks, basically calling me stupid, and then he like leaned back in his chair. Was like, anybody here call X100? Any of you guys do it? No, no, no. Well, maybe let me see your ticket. Oh yeah, this is Y100. I guess that's what it is. Yep. Oh my God, I just smiled and said, "All right, man. I was just double checking. Thanks." And just played dumb, like I didn't get his sarcasm and I didn't like understand how condescending he was because anyway, I don't want to digress off into that, but I didn't want to make a scene and just be an ass about it and call him out on like how rude he was being. So I went back and waited, and it was like 30 minutes later they called me up. But it was 6 tests. It was what was it? It was so general knowledge and combinations and air brakes and doubles and triples, hazmat, tankers. Took all 6, passed all 6. The guy basically just programmed the computer for all the ones that I wanted to take, and I just took them back to back to back to back. He didn't have to set up the next one. He just programmed them all at once. As soon as I finished one, it started the next one. They have it set up to where you can skip 5 questions per test. So if you get, like, normally in a test, whenever you use the skip button, it just, like, puts it at the back of the line, and you still have to answer that question. So you'll have, like, all the ones you skipped, and you'll finish the test, then you'll go back and, answer the ones that you skipped at the end, just so you don't waste a bunch of time trying to figure them out. You get to save them to the end. That's not the way it works with the CDL tests in Oklahoma. When you press skip, it gets rid of that. It takes it out of your question bank and brings another one in. So if you get to one that you have no idea on, you can just skip it and be like, forget that. I didn't think I would use that, but it came in handy. You could do 5 per test, and there was 1 or 2 questions that the way they worded it, I didn't know what they were asking. Like I remember it was just really weird. They were asking about hooking up a trailer, and like I had no idea what they were asking, so I didn't know which answer to pick. So I skipped 1 or 2 because of the way that it was written. I just didn't understand it. And then I probably skipped in total about 10 or 15 questions. and the rest of them were because I wasn't 100% sure on the answer. Now, once I got to the point where I had already answered enough, one of the annoying things, they didn't have like your total like questions anywhere on the page. You just kind of had to keep in the back of your mind how many questions you'd answered, and it told you as soon as you answered it whether it was right or wrong, and it would tell you what the correct answer was. So whenever you selected something and clicked confirm, it would pop up and give a green check mark next to the answer that you selected if it was correct. If it wasn't correct, it would put a red X next to it, and then it would put a green check mark next to what was correct. So you knew how well you were doing as you were going through the test. And the test to me was really easy. And after I took all the tests and passed them, the examiner was like, "Wow, you passed all of them?" And I was like, "Yep." I didn't think it was that big of a deal. And he was like, "That is crazy." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Nobody does that." Like he said that normally people don't pass one test the first time, and nobody passes all six of them or multiple tests all at once. Um, and I was like, "Oh, they seem pretty easy to me. They seem fairly common sense." And he was like, "Yeah, well, not to everybody." And you know, the thing. Okay, so he forgot to put the air brake test, so I'd only passed five of them at that point. So I had to go back and take the air brake test after we had that conversation because he forgot to put it into my tests. I sat down and I took that and passed it as well. But when I was going through the air brake test, I was thinking to myself, are these questions really common sense? Every single question that I answered on the air brake test, none of them were common sense. No one could go in and pass the air brake test without studying for it. It was an easy test, and there are only a few things that you kind of need to know to do all of the CDL tests. Like it's a lot of repetition. It's different ways of asking various things, but in general, you just have to have a very basic understanding of how a few things work, and then you can answer a whole bunch of questions on them. But when I was going through the test, I started thinking, and I was like, is this a common sense question? No. I didn't run across a single. Now, the general knowledge might have some common sense questions in it. The air brake test did not have a single, like, common sense question in it. It was all stuff that you had to know by prepping for the test. It's like questions like, what does the oh my god, I'm a brain fart here. Um, Questions about how the braking system works, um, the S cam. What does the S cam do? That's not a common sense question. Um, things like that. Like how much play should the slack adjuster have? Things like it's just like I there was not a single question in the air brake that somebody who hadn't studied could just walk in there and answer. Not one that I ran across. Anyway, I thought the tests were really easy. In my last video, I said that I hadn't really practiced very much on the tests because I was going through, and I don't know if it's maybe from last time that I drove. I'm still like, I still remember. Maybe I remember a lot of stuff. Maybe that's the reason it was so easy for me this time because it was just kind of a refresher. But I thought that it had been so long since I did it that I didn't really remember much of anything. But I read through the manual once, and then I took a ton of exam practice stuffs, the CDL Prep app, and then a whole bunch of websites that had little practice exams that you could do. And in general, I was passing all of them first attempt, unless I was rushing through them and wasn't reading the whole answer, but or the whole question. But it was pretty easy, um, and the examiner was like in awe of how well I did on all the tests. That was pretty awesome. Made me feel good. Um, after that, oh man, so much paperwork. I think I spent more time doing paperwork and him doing paperwork than I did actually taking all 6 of those tests. It probably took me less than 30 minutes to take all 6 of those tests, and there was probably an hour to an hour and a half of paperwork. Wow. But what was some key points on the paperwork stuff? So with the CDL, there were 2 or 3 people that came in with CDL appointments that did not bring proof of residency. When you're dealing with CDL stuff, you have to bring proof of residency, like a utility bill or a mortgage, something that has your physical address in that state. I brought 2. I think he only used one of them. I brought all kinds of stuff. I don't know how much I had to have, but I had a birth certificate, I had a social security card, and I had my driver's license, and I brought in 2 proofs of residency. Um, and he used all of that stuff except one proof of residency. Um, what all else? He So I went and got my DOT medical a week or 2 ago. So I had my long form. He didn't really care about the long form. He just wanted the very last page that had the it was like the big full size page medical card that has a doctor's signature and all that stuff. Part of your long form, like the last page of it, is this, like, I don't know. It's a big certificate type thing that the doctor fills out for you. That was all he wanted out of my long form stuff. And he made a copy of that and put it on my record. And because I had that and I passed all the tests and I had all the stuff, he went ahead and gave me my commercial learner's permit paperwork. Um, and he said that he put a restriction. He said on my, like, I have all the endorsements on my commercial learner's permit, but I can't actually use them. Like, he told me that I can pull a tanker, but it cannot have anything in it, not even residue. It has to be a completely empty tanker with a commercial learner's permit. So he said the Hazmat is going to be on there. It's not going to show on my license at all, but it is in their records. Once I get my thing from the TSA, he said to bring that in and give that paperwork to them, and then they will throw it onto my license. But my Hazmat does not show anywhere on my license. No, like, restriction or anything. It only shows in their computer system. So the process here was get DOT medical, go to Department of Motor Vehicles, Department of Public Safety, pass the required test for the commercial learner's permit, and you can do all endorsements if you want to at that same time. And after that, in Oklahoma, you have to they'll give you a printout of all the stuff. I don't think this, like other states do this weird stuff like Oklahoma does. But in Oklahoma, the Department of the Public Safety or DMV or whatever, they don't print out licenses, or you don't pay for stuff through them. They'll give you a piece of paper, and you take that piece of paper down to a tag agency, which is a private, like, a lot of tag agencies, it's like a what was that? What am I thinking of? A place where you get like your clothes pressed and ironed or whatever. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. A cleaner's like place, a dry cleaner. So a lot of tag agencies are not just tag agencies. It's like a dry cleaner that has a little tag agency in it. Like a dry cleaner slash tag agency. There are some tag agencies in town that are big operations, but they're little private businesses. It's like a franchise or something that you can do with the state. It's weird. It's really weird. I don't like this system. But they print out this little piece of paper, then you take it to a tag agency, and they print out your well, for me, is a commercial learner's permit. I retain my normal driver's license, and I have another license that is a commercial learner's permit. It does not have my picture on it, and I have to have both of those on me at all times. Well, the commercial learner's permit whenever I'm driving a commercial vehicle, and he said multiple times it's married to my license, so I have to have my normal license. The commercial learner's permit is worthless without my normal license, so I have to keep the two of them together at all times when I'm driving a commercial vehicle. Of course, when I'm driving a regular vehicle, the commercial learner's permit doesn't matter at all. Um, so I was able to do that. The other thing that I did today, so I went down to DPS, Department of Public Safety, took all those tests, got the paperwork for my learner's permit, went to a tag agency, they printed out my learner's permit. Then I went to a place called identogo, IDENTOGO, and they're the people who do TSA background checks and TWIC cards and stuff like that. So I went down to that place, and I was like, can I do a walk-in? Because I looked at doing an appointment, and they didn't have anything open until the next day. And I was like, man, I've got all the rest of the day and nothing to do. I don't want to take another day off for this. So I just went in to see if they could do as a walk-in, and there was nobody there. It was just me. And they said, yeah, we can probably get you in before lunch, which was like an hour from then. So as a walk-in, there wasn't any wait at all. And they said that I would have to go online and fill out some online forms. So basically, I went onto their website and filled out my name, address, contact info, and then my employer's name, address, and contact info. When in hindsight, I should not have had to fill out my employer's stuff. But I filled out all that stuff, and I had to do it twice. Once for Hazmat and once for TWIC. They said if I want both of them, then I have to submit one for each. So I did that on my phone in their little waiting area, and then I walked back up to the desk and said, hey, I submitted it. And they were like, all right, cool. Let's go back to the back. And they immediately just took me back to the back, asked for my phone number so that they could pull up the online submissions, verified information, took my fingerprints, and they told me that they were like, well, your employer, when they were verifying the employment information, they said this employer is going to receive some type of they're going to receive information about my request, whether it was approved or denied. I don't know what all information that my employer was going to receive. And I looked at her and I said, I'm quitting them. I said, I'm becoming a truck driver and I'm quitting that company. I said, I don't know what trucking company I'm going to work for. And she said, well, let's put it as pre-employment then. And she switched over to pre-employment and it just deleted out all the company information that I had put in on both of those applications. So it was a waste of time for me to put in all those phone numbers and everything for my current employer. Did all that. I think the Hazmat thing, I can't remember the exact prices. I want to say the Hazmat was like $85, and then the TWIC was like $122. And I had to pay them separately, which wasn't a big deal. And they gave me a really cool little TWIC holder badge thing. That's pretty awesome. I'm paying $122 for it, but it looks pretty nice. Looks really cool and really nice. I like it. It's nice. Little badge holder, a little what do they call a lanyard? Yeah, it's a nice little lanyard that they gave me. I'm like, well, you guys are optimistic. Give me a lanyard like I'm gonna pass or something. What if I get denied? I'm not gonna get a card. I still got a lanyard. Memoirs. Little souvenirs. That was about it. I feel like I did a whole bunch of stuff today, but I'm really glad that I passed all of the CDL tests first try, so that I don't have to go back in there and do, the tests again. I was just, honestly, I got to the point where I got tired of studying, and I was just like, screw it. If I fail a test, then I'll focus on that one test. There's no way that I'm failing every one of them. Maybe I'll fail one or two tests. I was just like, I'm tired of studying. There's just, there were so many endorsements that I was getting that I was having to study so many things that I just wanted to go in there and knock out what I could so that I could focus on just like one section. But luckily, I knocked them all out. That was honestly unexpected. I didn't think I was going to pass them all. Really happy about that. And I was really confused on the whole process. I didn't know if I would need a DOT medical or not. I definitely did. So if I would not have had my medical card, my DOT medical done before I went in and did all those tests, then I would have had to come back again after I got my medical card. So I'm glad that I did that beforehand. And the TSA people, well, the company that was doing the application for the TSA thing, they told me that it could take 4 to 6 weeks, but they said that almost everything is processed within 2 weeks. And I'm going to get 3 different things. If it all, passes, which it will, I will get some type of letter or paperwork that I can take to DPS for the hazmat stuff. And then I will get a TWIC card, and then I will get a PIN number. 3 different things I'm going to receive in the mail. They should all come at 3 different times. They intentionally don't send them all at once. But they said that it should only take a couple weeks. As long as it all processes by about, the middle of February, I plan on going into CDL school January 13th. And, excuse me, it's a 4-week. And the CDL school person told me that they have reservations every Tuesday and Thursday, I think, at the Department of Public Safety to do road tests or skill tests, whatever you want to call them. So if I finish the class on a Friday, I won't be able to do the test until Tuesday, which shouldn't delay me at all because USA Truck does orientation on Monday and Wednesday. So whether I pass the test on a Monday or a Tuesday shouldn't matter. I would be in the Wednesday orientation either way. So everything so far is good. Like, I'm a hope for the best, plan for the worst kind of person, and everything so far has been best case scenario. Everything's been like really easy, a lot easier than I thought it would be, a lot less waiting. I was able to do a couple of appointments walk in that I didn't expect I'd be able to do. So really, really happy. Good things are going really well. This upcoming week, what is it? So today's the 30th. Tomorrow's the 31st, so tomorrow's a work day. And then I'm off on the 1st, and then work Thursday, work Friday. And then next Monday is when I go back into the office. So I haven't been into the office in over 2 weeks. I can't remember exactly how long it's been, but I've been working from home this whole time. And I'm going to be working from home on the days that I work this week. This week I have Monday and Wednesday off. So Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday I'll all be working from home. The first time I'm going to be back in the office since early December is going to be January the 6th, I believe. That is when I plan on talking to my manager and explaining to him that I plan to leave. I really hope I catch him in a good mood, and I hope that he's really happy to find out that I'm quitting because he doesn't like me. And I hope he approves me to use... I don't think there's any way that he could screw me out of my vacation time, because I'm not going to walk in there and go, hey, I resign. I'm going to go in there and go, hey, I plan on resigning. What can we do like about burning my I'm gonna say the word time off, because I would really like to use all of my sick leave, which is 2 weeks, and my vacation, which is 4 weeks. I'm gonna use my 4 weeks. That's just, I don't think there's any way he's gonna like be able to screw me out of that. But the sick leave, that's pushing it a little bit. I'm hoping he's in such a good mood that he's just gonna let me use it all, and that'll be an extra couple $1,000. It's like $1,000 a week, $1,100, $1,200 a week is what I make. So that'd be pretty nice. A couple $1,000 is nothing to scoff at. It's $2,000 more than I would have, but it's not gonna like hurt me. If I don't get to use my vacation, which I think is highly unlikely, that might hurt me a little bit, because that's like $4,000. I mean, I can. It's like I can still do it. Like I could still make this happen, but man, that's $4,000. That would suck. Oh, we're at 31 minutes. Let's just go to an hour. Let's just get crazy. No, I'm rambling. I'm way off topic and rambling. I'm really happy, and I'm glad that I got all that done today. I was driving around doing all kinds of stuff. It was pretty awesome. But the only thing that I've got left to do now is go to the CDL school and pass the skills test, which, since I have previous driving experience and I've already passed all the written tests, that's the reason I wanted to get all the endorsements out of the way, is that way now I don't have to study for any of the endorsements. That's over and done with. Now, when CDL school happens, my entire focus, the only thing I have to study is the skills test. So the pre-trip and all of the maneuvers and everything for the skills test. That's it. And I should have a ton of time to be able to get like perfect on the driving portion, because I already know how to drive. So I'm not going to have to like learn how to shift and learn how to, there's a, oh my God, I'm going to start rambling. Backing is, I don't, I keep saying things aren't, they're not hard. They are kind of hard. I pick up on this stuff pretty easy, so it's not really hard for me. It's like riding a bike, backing one of these trucks. There is a certain amount of time that it takes to like develop that, you have to train your mind and your muscles on like which way to turn to make the trailer go this way or that way, and you have to get the feel and everything for like how long it takes to do this, or it's a whole lot of like muscle memory type stuff, just like riding a bike. And I'm not going to have to do that on driving the truck, so I'm going to be able to skip a lot of the the just training your mind on how to operate a vehicle that big, and I'm going to be able to focus in on just doing the maneuvers. Most of the maneuvers I'm probably going to be able to one-shot right now without any training. But parallel parking, what the hell? Why did they put that on the test? That is crazy. Oh my God, that's like, I don't know. I don't think I can parallel park. That's going to be a maneuver I'm going to have to like work on really hard. Like, I can't parallel park in my car, and I drive a little tiny sports car. Like, there's no way in hell I can parallel park a tractor trailer, a 70-footer. Good Lord. That is crazy. Why would they even have that on the test? Now, I can understand kind of having that on the test, because there have been some docks that I backed into that was pretty much like parallel parking. So, I mean, it's good to kind of know that you have the competency to do that, but honestly, how many people have you seen out there driving these trucks that don't have, like, they can't straight back? Do these CDL tests really filter people out? No, they don't. Because you could take somebody and get them to pass the CDL test by just taking them out and having them do maneuvers and telling them, start turning the wheel here, and it just becomes so like they couldn't back normally, but in this very pristine, perfect environment, this scenario that they just memorize how to do a particular back, a particular maneuver. That's what a lot of these CDL schools do, is just it's memorizing how to do a specific maneuver, just doing it through repetition. And it's these CDL schools are just meant to get people CDLs. They're just meant to get you a license. That's what they're there for. I suspect that a lot of them would love to teach people how to actually drive, but man, there's a lot of people that I've seen go through these CDL schools. I would like to think of myself as normal, but I'm not. Most of the class that I had last time, they couldn't, like, it was like every driving class that I've ever been through, I thought I was normal, and I realized how like above average I am. Like my motorcycle safety course I went through, I picked that up real quick. I was, doing all the maneuvers first time, and there were people that finished the class that still like couldn't drive in a straight line at the end of the class. It was when I went to CDL school, most of the class couldn't do basic backing, like straight backing, by the end of the class, and that was something that I picked up like the first try. It's bizarre. I should have thought something was like that. Like all the four wheelers you drive with every day, man. It's like every single day there's somebody that does something that puts my life at risk. It's like, how do these people get licenses? It's way too easy to get a license. Anyway, I'm driveling. I'm digressing. I'm rambling. So I'm really happy. Glad I got all that done. Now all I have to worry about is the skills test in the CDL school, and my manager being in a good mood. All right. Thanks for watching.